Hey, Talofa Lava. Leotawa Dr. John Peterson here, TE2 Wedge Sports Cards. Coming at you live and direct from Minneapolis, Minnesota, Monday morning. And I thought I would do a quick video on something that seems relatively simple, but oftentimes gets messed up, screwed up, whatever you want to call it. So if you get a chance, check out this video. All right, peace. See you in a minute.
TE2 Edge Sports Cards. Get at
All right, let's talk packaging for a minute. So if you have sold any cards on eBay, then you've had to package cards and send them in the mail. Typically, I use USPS. I don't really sell a whole lot of raw cards, and so most of what I am packaging are slabs like this. So I have found over the last few years that there are some tricks, simple as they may be, to packaging your slabs in a way that gets them to the end user, collector, last person to hold the card, person who'll be, in possession of the card. There's a couple different ways to do that make it a little bit of an easier, cleaner process. Sometimes when I buy cards on eBay and I buy a slab, they're packaged like way too much packaging, way too much bubble wrap, way too much tape, in a box when they didn't need to send it in a box. They could have sent it in a bubble mailer. So there are just a couple things that I wanted to share with folks. So let's get started with some of the things that you're going to need. This is a tool that I think is indispensable for cutting cardboard because I put my slabs in between two pieces of cardboard. This one's called the C-Jet tool, and it's pretty slick, right? Way better than a regular scissors. Your regular scissors probably will last about a week, and then it will break. So you want to have something that's got a little more power to it and a spring in it so that you can cut the cardboard. What type of cardboard do I typically use? For me, I like to use, the best cardboard I think is the cardboard that comes from PSA. It's relatively strong, but it's thin and protects the card if it's in a slab pretty well. I also use eBay boxes. Sometimes people will send their stuff in eBay boxes, so I save those. I also use Amazon boxes. Amazon boxes tend to be just a little bit thinner than your typical cardboard. You kind of want to stay away from like the super thick, super corrugated cardboard because it's just too hard to cut. It takes too much time. So let's go to the camera here and I can show you a little bit about what I'm talking about. So here's the cardboard, relatively thin. I haven't had issues with this in the past though. So then you got your card. You always want to sleeve your card up. I can't impress upon you how important it is to sleeve the card up. When I get slabs in the mail that aren't sleeved up, I just think it looks unprofessional. So sleeve up your card. I use two types of envelopes. This is the 7 by 6 by 1 or 0.2 or whatever you want to call it. So 7 inches long, 5 inches wide, and whatever you want to call the width. I don't know what the brand name is here, and then another size that I use is 9, 7, and 1, and that would be for 2 slabs. Rarely do I sell 3 slabs at once that get packaged all together. Usually it's 1 slab or 2 slabs. Another thing you're going to want is a thermal printer. It's not a must-have, but it's really a nice to have. When you have a thermal printer, I think I got one for Christmas this last year for my wife and kids. I had been cutting out the printouts, and this just looks way better, much more efficient, and a lot cheaper because you're not using a full sheet of paper for one label, and it saves time, saves tons of time. So invest in a thermal printer. I don't know the name of the one that they got for me and my wife and kids, but it works great. It's right here on the table just to the right of my computer, and overall it works fantastic. And you just peel this off and stick it on the stick it on the envelope. All right, so here we got our card. And again, this may seem like really simple stuff for most people who watch YouTube videos, but for those of you that are beginners and just starting to sell your stuff on eBay, it's important to do this the right way. It makes a difference, and people will come back and buy from your store. So I take packing tape, 3M packing tape, and I tape the sides and then I tape the bottoms. I used to put a rubber band around these, but I felt like that was not necessary and just became a bit of a waste. So this is what the packaging looks like. It's pretty straightforward. Typically what I'll do is I'll peel the label sticker off first and then affix that to the envelope like so. Put this in the bubble mailer. Take the peel off. Seal it up. I didn't really fold that well, but that's okay. And you're good to go. All right, so pretty straightforward process. I like to take my mailers, you know, the stuff that I'm mailing out, the packages. I like to take them to USPS. USPS, I think, for my money, does the best job. I've tried FedEx. I've tried UPS. They're all good. I think UPS sometimes has drivers that get a little crabby. I mean, I've had some packages from UPS thrown over my fence in my yard. FedEx does a really nice job. They're a little more expensive for the price. USPS Click and Ship works really great. I think I haven't had many issues with them, and I've sent over 1,000 pieces in the last 3 years through the mail. So I think USPS is a good way to go. If you want to go with FedEx or UPS, hey, power to you. Whatever works. But I like USPS because, like, I can drive through and just drop this off in the mailbox. Like, I don't have to go inside unless it's a box. Another thing you want to make sure is that you don't want to make these too thick. They've got to be able to fit inside of the mailbox slot, which is usually about like this, 1.5 inches at the most, maybe 1 inch. If you put something in there and jam it in there, it's going to have a hard time getting processed by USPS. So try to make your packages relatively thin and keep them about this size. So yeah, not a ton of bubble wrap, not a ton of tape. Just basically what I showed you in the video so far is how I package my cards. And I've gotten really good feedback on eBay from folks who have purchased cards from me in terms of how the packaging goes. Also, too, you want to get your shipping time down as much as possible. So I do 24 hours or less shipping. There's no reason to make people wait. And the quicker that you get the card in the hands of the consumer and the client, the better that your store is going to run, and the more people are going to give you good reviews, and the more people that are going to come to your store and buy cards from you. So let's take a quick look at, just as a real quick look, wasn't planning to do this, but I certainly can. Let's take a look at what we're doing this year so far in the first couple quarters on eBay. So let me go to screen. You can see I'm in the seller hub for eBay. I'm on the performance tab, or performance button, whatever you want to call it. I've got sales for this year pulled up. And let's just go down. So this is January 1st to July 28th. So this is roughly first half of the year, quarters 1 and 2. I've had total sales of around 35 grand. Selling costs, a little over 6. Net sales are about 27. which is down 16.5% versus the prior time last year. A little bit misleading because I've sold about 20,000 at shows this year. So, if you add the 20 plus actually, no, I've sold probably 23,000 now that I think about it. If you take the 27 plus the 23, that gets you to 50,000. So, which is really pretty equal to where I was at last year. Sold 315 different items. Average sales price is 111. Very few sales via auction. Vast majority of my sales via fixed price, which is what I prefer. Had over 250, 275 buyers, mostly one time, but there are some repeat buyers, which is up 53% from the prior year. Category, it's pretty obvious. You can see May and June were big selling months, as were the months of July and a little bit less February. This really corresponded with inventory from PSA. I really don't sell raw cards on eBay. I mean, I have, but it's not my main kind of go-to thing. I'm thinking about doing that, but that would require me to change my process and system up a little bit. I'd need a different type of scanner, which I don't have. Well, I have a scanner, but it's not the kind that can scan cards very well, raw cards. So yeah, just not sure if I want to go that route. Let's take a look at the selling costs. This is always important to know. Selling costs total have been $6,100, about 17 to 18% of total sales. The eBay fees, $4,778. That accounts for 77% of the costs. Shipping labels are about $1,400. That's 22% of the cost. The nice thing about shipping labels is that I categorize those as a cost of goods sold. And so those are deductible. I can deduct for my taxes for shipping. So really what you're looking at for eBay is really the fee, the insertion fee, and the fee to sell. If you take 4,800 and divide it by, let's go back up here, divide it by 35,245, you get to about 13.5% on the eBay fees, which is pretty consistent with the industry. Excuse me. These are some of the cards that I've sold. You can see, I'm not going to click on that. It's going to go through that. So anyway, yeah, so that's kind of the gist of things. I keep track of the sales with the shows on a separate system. I keep track of that on paper to start off with, and then I shift that over to an Excel spreadsheet. I try and do that at least biannually, for sure at the end of the year, but usually about this time of the year, about the halfway point, is when I start to take a look at, okay, so where am I at in terms of profit loss for the year? Whether it's selling singles, whether it is ripping a couple boxes, which I don't do frequently, but every once in a while I like to do a box rip and post some content on eBay, or on YouTube, not eBay. Yeah, so just generally you got to keep track of stuff. I mean, I don't really know what else to say other than if you're going to be selling on eBay and selling cards, you have to account for it. Otherwise, you're kind of two sheets to the wind, and you don't really know exactly what you're doing, what your goals are, where you're going to be. I was hoping to be at about 75,000 in sales this year. If I'm at 50 in the halfway point, I think I'm going to total 50, 35 on eBay, and another 25 or so, 50, 60 actually. 55, 60 is where I'm probably closer to. I've got to add the numbers up. I think I should be able to hit 100. Last year I did about 55,000, I think it was, total across the board. And I was hoping to kind of double that for this year, so we'll see how that goes. All right, I've gone on long enough. I hope this has been helpful and informative for you, especially for you beginners who are just getting started off with starting your business and or doing this as a hobby. Have a blessed week. Have a blessed day. Peace out. One love.